So what are those three key decisions that you took which made your business successful, and the other two which were not as successful as you thought it to be?
So I think running a business involves making decisions every single day. If you ask me about my top three, I think the number one would be to position Get-A-Way as a better for you brand, which sort of does not promote the diet culture, a leg of celebration to it where people can indulge without feeling guilty.
क्या ज़्यादा difficult था? Raising a capital when you actually thought that it is required, or raising a strong team?
One about the other, I would pick, getting the right team. Because even after raising funds to get the right team, you can make so many mistakes.
What truly drive businesses forward?
I think it's the greatest teams that you can build because
Hello and welcome to the People Engine podcast. For today's conversation, I have with me Pashmi Shah, the co-founder and CMO of Get-A-Way Icecreams. She's every bit of grit and passion you can imagine a founder to be. Join me in this exciting conversation on how she, her brother and mother build their brand, businesses and their team. So Pashmi, I welcome you on the People Engine podcast. When it comes to the business, we always take care of the internal employees, the first priority that way is, how should we devise a way in terms of keeping an ethical code for the businesses to deal with the stakeholders and investors? What's your view on that part? Because they are external to business, but still they are partners into the business. So any ethical code which has to be maintained?
So I feel honestly employees come first. They are the backbone of running your business. Investors are something that can be tackled. Especially when you're very, very particular about that this is how your team is going to be like, this is how your org structure is going to be like, and these are the positions where I really need this talent to sort of fill in. I think that's something that's non-negotiable because otherwise how are you going to run it?
What kind of work have we need to do when it comes to making people loyal for the organization? You must have seen those kind of challenges also. Is it growth? Is it money? Is it respect? Is it empathy? Is there any formula that you have understood that this is the way that we should make our people loyal to the organization and to the common culture?
I think definitely it's very common that people do want to sort of move out, and primarily that's due to monetary perspectives. But for us internally, the story is all about growth, and there are people who've stuck around with us since day one, and they're here to see the journey with us, and that's the most important part of it. Of course, there's a lot of upside because those employees who stuck around are going to see the benefits of us scaling up, much higher in the later years. So I think growth is number one. Second is respect. You need to be respected for the work that you sort of bring in, and while of course there are founders and co-founders who will have their own view of things, but we always respect what the other person has to say. We're never of the opinion that if this is a suggestion that you're giving that this is not something that's going to work, we'll always listen to them, and there have been times where we've even implemented a lot of suggestions from employees
which all give better results to you.
Absolutely.
Great. So when it comes to you in the business in terms of hiring, so what has been more painful? Wrong hiring, less hiring, or over hiring?
I think the worst is wrong hiring. Those mistakes are big lessons, and we've done a bunch of them in our starting years, of course, because any wrong hire means there is something in the system that is not working. Right. It's a part that is not fitting in right. And to do that correction takes a lot more. Under hiring is just then founders taking up those jobs and doing it, and that's something that we've been very frugal about, and we don't mind getting our hands dirty and doing multiple functions. So that's something that we're okay with, honestly. Over hiring, like I said, once a lot of capital comes in, a lot of startups get into this whole crunch of hiring for roles that do not even need so many people, right? And that's something that requires a course correction. People understand that over a period of time, but of course the worst one is wrong hiring.
So Pashmi, after 7 years of hard work, after 7 years being an entrepreneur, what has been the biggest lesson for you which you would like to gatekeep?
I think speed over perfection, and that's my biggest lesson, and I don't think I want to gatekeep it because it is so
Yeah,
essential.
that's a way of saying this, but yeah, I'm sure.
So I think it's really important that you go with full agility because you're a startup at the end of the day, right? Anybody else is going to catch up very quickly.
Right, right. So, when you think about your business in the morning, when you get up, is it still the long-term vision that you have, or is it still that firefighting which has to be done on daily basis?
Honestly, when you wake up and you have a ton of messages, it's all firefighting, and that's something that's a part and parcel of founder's life. But at the back of the head, it's always about the long-term vision, what you're building. It keeps you going, it keeps you motivated, and that's something really important because you can get bogged down by the firefighting every day.
And that's what you have signed up for.
Exactly.
Yeah. In your experience, what truly drives businesses forward? Is it the greatest strategies that you can make, or it is the greatest team that you can?
I think it's the greatest teams that you can build because at the end of the day, you're people building for people in a business like food, which is very centric towards how people anticipated the taste, the product, the consistency, everything. So for us, a great team is very important.
Okay, Pashmi, it's one of the favorite questions that I have. If we go back in time, for example, we go back in 2018, with all the wisdom that you have gathered, absorbed for the last 7 years, do you think that you would like to do the same thing in terms of starting your business with the same set of people, with the same set of processes, or will you do something differently? Or maybe you don't want to opt to sign up for one?
I would do a lot of things differently. I would start sooner, I would hire people sooner, I would make those mistakes very early on rather than wait for the right time and the right person. So I think it's very essential, the timing of things when it comes to operating businesses. Would have raised capital also earlier, would have got a bigger team earlier, but at the same time I feel we're in tangent with what the current scenario of health and wellness is in the country.
Right.
Indians are now aware of protein,
Right.
which wasn't the case earlier. So definitely that helps, to be in alignment with what the current scenario is.
No, I think it's rightly started by you and probably put up with through your side. It's an overlapping of what India is moving towards and the product that you have launched.
Exactly.
So can we say that, the way the gyms have progressed is the way your product is also going to progress?
100%, and I feel like it's a longer journey because I see it as 20 years from now on where protein is going to be a household thing rather than people just not knowing what macros are and what deficiencies are, etc.
I think this is the best podium and best time to talk about those things also, just in a bit of detail if you can. If you talk about the whey protein and the other things that you're talking about, can you please explain to our audience that how different it is and how beneficial it is for them in the simple and simplest of languages?
So, firstly, protein is the macronutrient that is most essential for your body. That helps build muscle. It helps you slow down aging. And what we decided to start with is a product that's something that anyway people love, which is ice cream, and we thought, okay, let's just add whey protein to it so you feel like you're eating something indulgent but you're not feeling guilty about it. And we thought that whey protein is something that we should add because that's your purest form of protein, and that's something that's also available across the industry. It's a byproduct of the entire dairy industry, so people will not have second thoughts about consuming whey protein. So that sense is already there. That awareness has been built over the years. How is it different? So there are natural sources of protein, and then there is added protein that you sort of take through supplementation, which is where whey protein isolate, whey protein concentrate, all of these sort of come into play. It's just a very fine and reformed form of protein. So think of it as if you're making paneer, the water that is left, that is whey water, and that in a powdered concentrated form is what actually whey protein is. So while that is also a very natural source of while that is also a very natural source of consuming protein, and on the other end there are sources like whole foods, like there's eggs, there's milk, there's paneer, cheese, chicken, All of these are also very high sources of protein, right? But how much in how much volume can you eat that to fulfill your daily requirements, and that is something that's key. Whey protein just helps you do that with taking a smaller volume and getting higher dosage of protein.
The way you explained me now, I'm sure that we all know this product should have come out from your home and your kitchen.
Yeah.
You understand proteins really well. How important is the customer feedback for your company, and how well have you integrated that system in terms of your products or change or pivot of your products, and what are the results?
I think the number one thing that's important to us is customers. Since we started, we were always in conversation with whoever was consuming our products, because we wanted to know how is the taste, how is the flavor, are you liking the mouthfeel of the product. And it's from the customers, the feedback that we got, that we went on improving our product by 1%, and finally to a level that okay, this is something that people love. A very interesting one that came from customers was keto. When we launched, we were only a high protein ice cream brand, but then there were a lot of consumers who were on a keto diet, and they said that why don't you make something that is keto friendly, which is lower in carbs. And that's when we decided, okay, let's make keto friendly ice creams, and we were the first ones to make it, but thanks to our customers, that's where the insight sort of came through. So suggestions from consumers are extremely important to us. In fact, I spend almost 2-3 hours every week talking to consumers and just understanding how the delivery experience was, how was the product, what are more suggestions that that we need to improve. Even minor changes in recipe, if we do, that we feel okay, adding maybe a chocolate layer on top or removing it for that matter. But if a consumer felt that okay, I like that better, we will always go back to that.
Okay, so you have always inculcated changes which has to be done. So was that a reason that the protein which I saw, in what I noticed, that has come from 12 grams to 8 grams in your product? Was it the case?
So in fact,
was it consumer driven or was it financial driven?
So none of these actually, and we've just shot one piece of content clarifying this. What really happened is we've gone from a 9-gram protein tub to an 8-gram protein tub. Only reason being we've downsized the grammage. So from a 125 ml we've gone to 100 ml.
So that proportionally brought it down.
So the recipe hasn't changed, ingredients haven't changed, just proportionally because of size change it has gone down. And why we did the size change? Because industrial standard is 100 ml. Okay. And that's why we wanted to be comparable to the industry.
Got it. So Pashmi, I think when it comes to a product, we are sure about this, that it was one of its kind. You were the one who introduced the whey part of the protein in the ice creams. Did you actually get the benefit, the first mover advantage that you were due to get?
So honestly, no, because there were a lot of people who followed suit and they launched these low-calorie ice creams and they learned from the mistakes that we already did. However, what's really important is when you launch it first, you also need to be backed by a lot of capital, which is what I even mentioned earlier, that the mistake that we made is not raising earlier. And I think that just gives you a lot of speed in running the business. So that's something that's important. Still, there's not a single player who's doing high protein ice creams, and it's just us. Amul now has launched it and sort of is changing the game, but it's great because the category size opens up for us.
I think it will increase the pie size for everyone.
Exactly.
Once Amul is there. When it comes to this part of the conversation, it's just a rapid fire that we are going to do, right? You don't have to think much.
Okay.
In a split second, you need to answer. Profit or growth?
Growth at this point. That's very crucial to us. Perhaps in 1-2 years, profit.
Okay. In your company, it's long meetings versus the quick Slack meetings that we talk about.
Definitely quick Slack meetings, and I just WhatsApp my team G-Meet, and it's become like a word in the organization that everybody's like, oh, G-Meet, that's for 10 minutes.
Excel sheet versus the strategies and the gut feeling.
Okay, so I'm a very data-driven person, so Excel sheets through and through.
Okay, strategy versus people. It's a big question.
I would say
choose
people.
one.
I would say people.
Okay. Anything that we would like to add, because we have gained the information that we wanted to, which is going to be advantageous for us also and also for the viewers. We have gone into a depth of understanding how you tackle your business, how you take it forward. Anything else that you really want to share with us and with our viewers about your product?
So I think with Get-A-Way now having an array of products, we're moving a lot more towards protein packed desserts, and the idea is always going to be indulgence at core with a side of protein, and that's something that we want to take going forward. So bunch of things that we're very excited to launch is desserts, and we did this as a pilot some months back, and I think people are really loving it. So we're planning to introduce a lot more better for you portfolio products, and that's something that's very special to us because we love those desserts as co-founders. The other point is a lot of indulgence is there in the market. People are not very aware of the sort of ingredients that are being used. So only my one piece of advice to all the viewers is read the nutrition label, read the ingredients that are going in, because it's very important to understand what is going into your body.
Correct.
And India is a very large market. We are built with an India 1, India 2. There are maybe just...
So it's not one market for you?
It's not at all one market for us, and only 0.1% people are aware of ingredients, and that's knowledge that needs to be imparted by brands, by companies, and it's really essential because as our population is growing, as health problems are growing, we're the number one diabetes capital of the world, and that's not something to be proud of. It's very important to work on your health, to understand the food that you're eating, what you're consuming, and just overall your well-being is very essential.
Guys, it's a valid point. We need to be educated about things that we are going to eat. So whatever is labeled in terms of ingredients, we must check it before we consume it. You know what? It's only yesterday I met a person who's about to open a hospital, which is a 50-bed hospital. He said, Rajan, India is there, it's a ticking time bomb in India. If you talk about the diabetes and other side of things, it's not cardio, neuro. Those basic issues that we have, it's a ticking time bomb. And I personally think that, what we know is what we should eat. We should actually see what is there in the label, and we should consume those kind of products. But thank you so much, Pashmi. It's a great conversation, genuinely. There's a lot to catch up with. Maybe next time. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Rajan, for having me. It was wonderful.
Same here. Thank you. Thank you. The People Engine podcast is our effort to bring forth conversations from the perspective of human resources. Because we truly believe it's the people who make the businesses. Follow us for more interesting stories.